Look out! Decepticon!
Cliffjumper! Cease fire and move it!
Sorry, guys, but it kind of looked like a Decepticon.
Okay, so here we have Transfomers Earthrise War for Cybertron Trilogy Cliffjumper. So apparently this is only for 8+-year-olds. That just about allows me to own it and open it up. From Hasbro here, the Generations logo up there, Takara Tomy logo up there. A lovely piece of box art on this side, depicting him with his rather large weapon. On the other side is the Earthrise artwork. Apparently this is authentic, although I feel it would be very easy to fake an authentic logo. On the back here we can see Cliffjumper with his 2 modes. Also shows us him with his skis there. Apparently there are 18 steps to complete this transformation, and we will be counting those. It's not for the 0 to 3-year-olds. However, it is, like I say, for 8 and above. So those people in between 3 and 8, I'm not sure if you're allowed to look at this either. Anyway, let's open this up. I have my unboxing knife here. Where is the sellotape? There it is. Do they call it sellotape in other parts of the world, or is it just sellotape over here in England? There's another piece of sellotape there which needs to be destroyed. One down here. Let's see if that works. Oh, there's another piece of sellotape here. Slide him out. So let's see what we have. We have the figure in its plastic coffin, which I like to call it, with his weapon held in by these weird rubber band tie things. I'm never really sure what their correct term is. And also, inside the box, there is, that is completely empty, as you can see, we have the map, sellotaped on tech spec decoder. We have some sort of warning packaging. There we go. Warning: choking hazard, small parts, not for children under 3 years. The instruction manual, which is fold out, as you can see. And that sums up what's in the box. Let's see if I can get that tech spec decoder off without causing big damage. Don't like peeling. Is this still sellotaped up? This is an awkward little bleeder. Might need my special lilac scissors for this job. There we go, give it the snip. And there we go. There is your purple decoder. I say purple, it's red, isn't it? I'm lying. And a filthy fingernail. And word on the street is that you can see the dead universe there with your decoder. Anything else laying about we need to see? Some bizarre chain type looking things. But I think it is just the dead universe. Is that where Cliffjumper comes from? I don't know. So as I said earlier, there is also this small parts warning label. Not very interesting. The instruction manual for Cliffjumper here. Shows us how to attach his weapons, and see if we can flip this out. there are the instructions running side to side there. I think I would have preferred this as a little booklet rather than a fold-out pamphlet. On the back, we have yet more of the transformation instructions. There's the little skis there for his wheels, which you can attach to his weapon. And it shows us how to attach the weapon and the skis for those alternate modes, if you will, and how to use your tech spec decoder, because obviously they are very difficult to use. And last but not least, is the figure himself. Now, can I get this out without damaging those rubber bands? Let's have a try. Word on the street is if you're clever, you can thread these out. Sadly, not being clever or having any ability to do things like that, I am going to give up. That was too hard. Fail. Let's just snip those. 1, 2, 1 across the legs. I hope none of these are needed. Is he going to come out with his coffin? I think he's got another one in there somewhere. There it is. Just look there under his arm. A small child may have yanked on that and snapped something. Because I guess that's why you're not allowed to be younger than 8. So he is out. Alongside the remnants of the packaging down there. We'll do the same with the weapon. Does this weapon have a name? I don't know. Sweep the filth away. I seem to have acquired a nice little stain down here. I don't know how we got that. So here we are. Here is the figure and his weapon. Not sure how he's supposed to hold that. I would assume in the hand. See if we can get him to hold his weapon. Does the barrel turn? No, that seems like an odd way to have the bipod. Actually, it's more of a tripod, isn't it? Does it turn? Am I a fool? Am I an idiot? Or is it just mightily stiff? It's just stiff. So I guess we want to line up the hand grips like so. And then we can put that one in that hand, and then will it reach across or will it be awkward? How? Hey? How? I don't see how we can get him to hold that weapon correctly, so it's just going to have to hold it like the large weapon that it is, and he can't open his hand in the oh dear gesture. So there he goes. That is the Cliffjumper holding his weapon. On the back, you can see this rather large piece here. And there we go. That is Earthrise Cliffjumper unboxed. So let's review this little Earthrise Cliffjumper. Let's have a closer look at his face. There you go, you can see his head looks absolutely wonderful. I like his little pursed lips expression. The sculpting on the face there is quite nice, and his head can move, although it is a little stiff. I do apologise for my filthy looking thumb. The eyes are blue, which are hard to see unless you lift it up and look in the light. Back of the head is just this red bell shape. So here he is in his bot form. Cliffjumper looking very good here. Here he is from the front and the side and the back, the top and the bottom. Don't look up my skirt. Do Transformers have skirts? That's an interesting question. So there's not a lot of paint on this guy. There is some on the front there, which has been painted on quite well. Not many chips or anything like that. I'm sure there was an Autobot symbol here somewhere. I know where. Here. And this one has been applied quite well. Very smooth, very matte, very good. Regarding the arms and legs and any hollow parts, we have some hollow parts inside the thighs and the shins here. Same on the other side. I'm not going to count underneath. These weird little holes in the toes. Peg holes in the side, though they don't really count, do they? And a couple of hollows in his forearms. There's some nice detail up there on his shoulders. Gives him some weight. Still a light plastic, but makes it look that little bit more heavy and metal styled. Some nice detail on the parts of the arms that you can see. Some little ribbed areas on the arm. We can see the individual fingers. We have an arrow of sorts pointing to his crotch plate. We have some interesting, I think this is paint on the back window. It hasn't gone over the line anywhere. The paint of the rear of the car or back there is quite well applied, no issues there. As we said before, the detail on his face is quite nice. The sculpting is very good. Some detail here on the shins, which is quite nice. And if you lift up his arm, he's got quite a lot of nice detailing here under the shoulder. Moving on to the joints now, we can see his head turns very stiffly. The arms move all the way around and they bend at the elbow, even backwards. And the wrists rotate 360 degrees. The waist does a 360. Legs move all the way around, interestingly, on a ball socket there. The knees, 90 degrees, forwards and back. We have ankle rock. We can't rock outwards, only inwards. We can't rock forward on the toes either, but obviously we can turn the legs to face outwards slightly. All in all, pretty good articulation. Okay, so let's transform this little cliff jumper. Step one is that we have to pull this part off the back, leaving this nice peg here. Just came out of that hole there. Step two is we open up the chest, like so. Step three, we flip this interior chest up. And then step four, we close it back up. Wait for the click. There we go, that is pretty solid. Now step five's a fun one. We've got to rotate his hands back behind him in a 90-degree angle like this. And then 6, for some bizarre reason, we just go up. We could have quite easily done that in the last step. It's a bit loose there now. Step 7 is you drop the shoulders. Like so. And step 8 is you rotate the body around. Now interestingly, I thought it rotated at the waist, but actually it rotates up there inside the chest cavity, if you can see that. Now step 9 is an interesting one. We flip the body forward, having bending over there in his gear walk mode. And then step 10 is we push these hands back behind him whilst leaning him right forward. Doesn't make too much sense on the instructions. However, there are some little pegs that we have to peg into. Now, one of them is this tab here. You can just see that it's a rectangular tab, and that will peg into this slot here on both sides, I believe. So when they're tabbed in, you know you're there. We are there. Now next we open the foot flap, which are the car doors, exposing those wonderful wheels behind. And then we lift these side bits up. Like so. They lock into position nicely. And then we turn these wheels outwards, much like the DeLorean in Back to the Future. And then we come around the front and we lift that up. We have these doors open a bit, which makes it a bit easier. We should be able to cobble all this together. There we go. And then we can shut the doors, and actually first we have to make sure that hood is shut. There we go. We have no gaps in that bonnet in front area. I think they call it a hood in America. And we shut the doors. We've got two little pegs here which like to go inside the door jambs, and these guys can be quite stiff, so you have to give them the big one, as I call it, and then push back to get rid of those gaps. I said push back to get rid of those gaps. There we go. It helps if you sort of lift this side panel out to allow that to go underneath. A bit awkward, a bit tight, but you can eliminate those gaps with a bit of fiddling. Now next, we put this down. We get our parts form apart, turn it upside down. This peg inside, we want to slot inside like that. And then all we do is with these two pegs here, we put them in his hands. Let me get that on camera for you, there we go. It's got a satisfying sliding in the pipe feeling. Just a lot of wiggling, a lot of little squeezing. I like to sort of nip these hands under with my thumbnails to get a nice tight grip. Now interestingly, we have this weird gap here under the wheel arch, which is on both sides. It looks like damage, but it is on both sides, so perhaps it is meant to be there. With a few gaps so we can give it a bit of a squeeze and eliminate those. But that is the transformation. I think that was quite easy, if a little awkward in places, mainly around those door jambs and that bit where he had to bend over and slide his hands behind his back. Pretty happy with that. No breakages. Here we are in the alt mode. You can see the car mode from the front. The top looks quite nice, and from the side, not too much rubbish going on underneath to prevent clearance. He does roll pretty well. Back of the car looks quite nice. Underneath you can see various gubbins. One thing I do notice is these wheels are a little skinny for me. I would rather they were a bit chunkier. There's a bit of a weird gap around the rear hatch there, but I can't get those gaps any smaller, no matter how much I try. As I said before, there's these weird dent things here in the wheel arches, not sure what they are, but the paint on here is quite nice. The wheels look good, can't complain about those. Would be nice if they painted in the number plate and the lights. Maybe that's something for a customizer to do. And any other paint is just this logo on the hood here. The windows look quite nice. A nice blue clear plastic. Can't complain about that. Can you see anyone inside? No. No, there's no one to see. Anything in the boot? No, we have a blacked out window on the back here. Maybe he's carrying something he shouldn't be and he doesn't want anyone to see. The only other issue I might have is that this front section doesn't appear to close amazingly well. There is a very visible gap there. I don't think you can get rid of it. Anyway, I'd say that Cliffjumper is a pretty solid figure. The alt mode definitely looks good, and I think the bot mode also looks very good. This gun, however, not really sure if we'd call that good or not. That's not the correct way to mount it, by the way.